everyone, and welcome to the second episode of BrainWatched. I am your host, ZehOverseer, and today I am joined by J-Chippers.
Hello!
Cube couldn't join us today, so it's just going to be me and J-Chip for now.
Yeah.
So, I hope everybody had a happy holiday, whatever you're celebrating. By the time this podcast come out, it will be past the holiday season. We're recording this before the holidays, but hope you all had a good one. Also, before we begin, I would like to say something about, just this real quick. I know last episode was my very first time hosting a podcast. Looking back, I'm actually not that proud of how I did because I didn't give my actual opinions as much. I mostly had a, we'll see how it turns out, or like, I don't want to make a judgments before the thing comes out attitude. I had that attitude throughout the whole thing, and like, I'm basically just delivering news at that point. I could have been replaced by anybody. So from this point on, I'm gonna try harder on actually giving my opinions on stuff.
Yeah, we want to make this show like more than news briefs. We want to actually have a discussion with this, like we did with BrainWatching.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be giving my opinions more, giving my thoughts, whether I like or dislike a decision, and not just be like, oh, let's wait and see how it turns out. Because even though I like to stay neutral and I don't like to jump to conclusions, that doesn't make for a very interesting podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, today, I think J-Chip's going to have a lot more to say than me on this front, because we are going to be talking about Nintendo today.
Yeah.
And seeing as I am a Sony boy and I grew up with PlayStation, I think J-Chip's he's gonna have the floor a lot during this podcast, which, to be frank, is not that different from last podcast. I'm gonna give my opinions too, because I have some opinions also, but let's get started. Unlike last time, where we had too many topics to fit into 1 hour long podcast, we only have 2 topics, really. But let's start with the more positive one, Super Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Which is opening next year.
Yeah. So what is Super Nintendo Land, Zay?
See, I have to keep reminding myself that it's not a full theme park. It is a section of Universal Studios.
Yeah.
So, like, it's basically like, I've never been to Universal Studios, but don't they have, like, a Hogwarts where you can go to Hogwarts? Yeah. And like, it's just a one part of the park, it's not the full thing. Yeah. It's basically like that.
Yeah, so...
Because every time I look at Super Nintendo World, Land, I'm just like, or World, fuck. I keep thinking it's called Nintendo Land, but Nintendo World, I'm just like, seems like a really small park.
I mean...
But then I have to remind myself, no, it's a section of a bigger park.
Yeah, and also, this is just them starting out. Like, it's going to expand in the future if it's successful.
Also, it's called Super Nintendo World because Super Mario World was taken 30 years ago
by a video game.
Yeah, it's all Mario. That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So many people were like confused and like, why is this Super, like, I get that it's a video game already, but like, why is this not Super Mario World or Super Mario Land when it's just Mario? Because Nintendo is more than just Mario. But you would think that if this whole thing becomes successful, then they're gonna expand on the park or section or whatever and include more Nintendo properties.
I certainly hope so, because. Well, we should point out that the reason we're talking about this is they put out a little direct where Miyamoto walked around the park and showed it off, or at least the parts that he wanted to show off.
Yeah, and he couldn't show off everything.
Right, and I'm looking at this Super Nintendo World. I got it right that time. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I mean, I get it. Even if you want to add more Nintendo themed rides and stuff later, I'm just thinking like. Really? You couldn't think of one? You couldn't think of at least one ride, like, that isn't just Mario?
Yeah.
Like the cafe. Like the Toad Cafe. Like, I'm thinking, like, instead of a Toad Cafe and being greeted by Chef Toad at the front, do you know how many people would fucking love it if instead of Toad walking out in a chef's hat. Fucking, like, you walk into the front door and you see the big screen, and fucking Kirby walks out in a chef hat.
Chef
and
Kirby,
he waves to the
hell
people.
yeah.
And he waves, yes, and he waves to the people like, hi!
Oh,
before they go in and eat. And then when you walk in and you see the animated back room, like, movie that they got where they're showing toads, instead of toads, you saw a bunch of Waddle Dees making your dinner.
Oh my god.
People would fucking love that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if they do ever expand on this world, I want them to make a restaurant that's just the Toad Cafe, just reskinned with Kirby.
But no, it's everything is mushrooms. It's all mushroom. Mushroom flavored popcorn. Like, what? Who is gonna buy that?
I mean, they sell a lot of weird shit in Disneyland, so.
True.
And also, I kind of like the inspiration of the Toad Cafe that because in Disneyland they have a bunch of cafes that are run by the characters too. Like there's Goofy's Kitchen, and I'm pretty sure there's a cafe run by Mickey, like Chef Mickey.
I'm just thinking, like, there's more you could have done than just Mario.
Yeah, like I was reading comments and people were like clamoring for Metroid and Kirby, and even like, dude, you know how cool a fucking Zelda part of the world would be?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, not even Zelda. You couldn't think of any idea for a Zelda ride. Really?
My thing is that, like, they've been working on this for years, apparently. And it's weird that, like, it finally comes out when there's a pandemic. But at the same time, I don't think it's gonna open without, like, some problems. By the way, it's opening in Japan first before the rest of the world. They plan to actually expand to the other Universal Studios locations, but they're starting in Universal Studios Japan first.
Which, makes sense. They're a Japanese company.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, from the presentation, all the shit is, like, in English, except for Toad talking. Which, it's so fucking funny hearing Toad talk in normal language. Like, normal speak.
That was fucking weird.
It was so fucking bizarre just to hear this normal ass Japanese coming out of Toad. Yeah, but like I think it makes for a better experience than having just like a fucking speech bubble requiring people to fucking read.
Okay, I have been making fun of them this whole time about like I have been making fun of the park this whole time, but even as someone who like isn't as into Nintendo as J-Chip clearly is, it does look fun. It
looks super fucking fun. And, like, the thing is, I've been to Universal Studios before. Not Universal Studios Japan. I would love to go there. But I've been to Universal Studios in Hollywood. And it's super fucking fun. The Hogwarts land could have been a lot better, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you go there for, like, the scenic part of the land. You don't necessarily go there for, like, the 2 rides that are there, which one of them is really, like, bleh, like, makes you really fucking nauseous.
Which, again, I had to remind myself that this is a part of a bigger theme park, so I was watching it just be like, okay, where are the rides? Show me the rides. Like, it can't all just be walking around looking at stuff.
Yeah. So like, every part of Universal Studios is very limited in rides. Like, the Jurassic Park area is a part of one other section, and it's 1 ride. And the Mummy has 1 ride, and it's a weird-ass roller coaster. And that's just in Universal Studios Hollywood. I think it's really interesting the way Nintendo's going about this is that they've wanted to make their own land for like they've wanted to make their own theme park for a long time, but like if they made just a theme park on their own, that shit would go under so fucking fast. If they didn't collaborate with someone like Universal, and they were just funding their own park, that shit would go under so fast.
I mean, you mentioned like they've wanted to like open their own theme park. Can we just talk about Miyamoto for a second and like him walking around the park, and he looks so fucking happy.
Yeah,
throughout the whole direct.
Yeah, it's so fucking wholesome because he looks like a proud dad that his dream has finally come true. Like, he's seeing all of his characters come to life like that. It's so fucking bizarre and so fucking wholesome.
He's got a contagious smile.
He does. And there's this one part where he meets up with Mario and Luigi, mascot characters.
Yeah, and he says, "Hold on, kids, Dad's busy."
Yeah, this shit was so fucking cute. I would imagine that when Nintendo World does come to America for Florida or Hollywood or both, that Reggie does the presentation. Dude, I don't care if he doesn't work there anymore. Reggie needs to present the park.
He would do it. He would. If they like called him up and been like, "Hey, everybody in America really likes you. You want to do it?" He'd totally do it.
Yeah, he's still like a huge influencer in the gaming world. So like he's still a prominent
also owns
figure.
A boat company or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what that man's doing these days.
But yeah, so this park looks super fucking interesting, and I can't wait till it expands to other parts of the world. It's going to be a long time, honestly, till that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with America, because we don't know how to get our shit together. But the thing with Japan is that Japan has the whole world situation already practically taken care of. Not to like a 0 degree, but like they've got their shit handled.
But they're certainly better at social distancing than we are.
Yeah, and they've got this whole world situation down. Like it again, this opening isn't gonna go without any problems, but much smoother than it would the rest of the world. Let's be honest.
But sometimes it feels like we're the only country that hasn't got it down.
Yeah. So honestly, if it does take forever to come to the West, I, at that point, will just be super happy to visit it when I go on my Japan trip in a few years.
I mean, it's not like Mario's gonna get old by the time it comes to America.
Old man Mario.
I meant like old news, but yeah, the literal man who is real.
Fucking
Mario.
senile old man Mario.
He's gonna be walking around the park with like a white mustache, and he's just gonna be like, Yahoo!
Hits his head on a block. Fuck! Why did I do this? Tries to jump, fucking throws out his back.
Yeah.
Anyways, the park looks super cool.
There's just one more thing I wanted to say about the park before we move on to the bullshit. I'm confused about the whole coin thing. Like, how the park works is like you get this wristband when you walk in, and apparently throughout the park there are these bricks that you can hit and these games that you can play, and every time you hit a block or play a game, you get coins and power-ups. What are they used for? He doesn't say.
Well, that's what I'm assuming, that like they can't totally reveal. Like they want a lot of shit to be a surprise. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but this is like the main gimmick of your park.
I assume it's like how Disney does its rewards through like certain ticket shit that they have.
Because he says like he specifically says, the translation says like, they even work like amiibo. You can use them even after you return home. So I'm wondering, like, do they work like you own a Switch? Isn't there like this thing where you have like Nintendo points or something that you can use to like buy games?
Nintendo gold points and silver points or whatever. I would assume it would go towards like my Nintendo rewards.
'Cause I don't know what that means. And like at first, when I first saw them, I was just like, maybe they're used to get prizes, because that's how most arcades work. Like you play the game, you win tickets, and you use those tickets to get prizes. But if that's what the coins, I can see using that because they're currency. But what do the power-ups do? Because he says you can get like there's slots for a mushroom, a 1-up star, a fire flower, and I think what looks like an egg. I don't know, what do those do then?
I honestly don't know, but I think they're leaving it up to surprise for like attendees.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is guess at this point.
Yeah, which honestly that keeps me more intrigued about like going there. Honestly, to like find out a bunch of shit, because honestly, this was the same way that the Hogwarts was unveiled. Like I didn't know most of the shit going in when I went there for the first time.
Also, they showed off a Mario Kart ride.
Yeah.
I mentioned like I wanted to see more rides. They did show off a Mario Kart ride, and from the looks of it, it looks like it's a ghost train, basically.
Yeah. So it's on a track. Like it's a lot like the Cars ride in not Disneyland, but California Adventure. And it's a lot like the Cars ride. It's on a track, and you're going around the area, and you basically go through this story. And it's a lot like that.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Which is cool. But they also, it would have been super cool if they legit made a fucking like go-kart area.
Yep. Well, that's is that everything?
Yeah.
Is that everything with Super Nintendo World?
Yeah. Which I kind of like the name. Honestly, I kind of like the name Super Nintendo World after I realized that like it's kind of like after the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So everybody feeling excited? Everybody happy to be a Nintendo fan?
Because we're about to bring shit down. Yeah, so Nintendo in 2020 hasn't been really the greatest.
This entire year has just been the year of corporations showing their true colors.
Yep.
Not that we didn't already know all corporations were scumbags, but this was just like reaffirming that.
Yeah, even your boy your Sony has been through a lot of shit this year.
I know. Trust me. That PS5 launch was a dumpster fire.
Oh my god. Nintendo's just watching the fucking console war in the corner like, hey, what's going on?
God, so many fucking Switches are gonna sell this Christmas because we can't get any of the new stuff.
Oh my god, that makes me it's so fucking funny to me, honestly, that both consoles, the Xbox and PlayStation, are more out of stock than the Switch was at launch. And you know how out of stock that shit was. Everyone was clamoring for the Switch, and stores didn't have enough.
It is so annoying. I mean, we weren't going to get a PS5 for Christmas anyways, but still. I'm angry for the people who did want one.
Yeah, and that's fair.
But anyway, Nintendo, why you being such a chode? So, basically, if you don't know what we're talking about, this walk of shame for Nintendo basically started because of a well, you can go ahead and explain if you want to, or I can, whichever.
Well, they've kind of had a lot of fucking stumps this year. But the biggest thing,
I'm thinking of one specific one. Is there any ones that you're thinking of? Because I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me go down the honorable mentions before we get to the main thing.
The dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable mentions. Yeah. So, first off, they're releasing a lot more third parties this year, and people are getting upset with that they're not releasing like any Nintendo things this year. Which, one, there's a pandemic, and but the thing is, a lot of people are making games during a pandemic anyways, even though they really shouldn't be because crunch shouldn't exist. But
oh, absolutely.
People are upset that Nintendo's not actually making games this year, and justifiably so, honestly. But honestly, I kind of see it as the way that they're experimenting with a lot of third parties, like bringing them over. They want to make the Switch a super console with having a lot of shit on it. And I kind of agree that it should go in that way, that like, yes, it's a Nintendo product, but having it be this ultra mega console is super good for the gaming community.
I mean, I just remembered one while you were talking. The whole Mario 35th anniversary thing.
Oh yeah, so the other thing was the Mario 35th anniversary. They announced a lot of cool games. And
you better get them now.
Yeah, so they're putting deadlines to get they're putting games out on limited time offers, and I don't understand why.
I can tell you why. And I can tell it, and I don't even have to explain. I just need to show you like one article and you'll understand why. Oh, look at that. Super Mario 3D All-Stars sold super fucking well. Gee, I wonder why everybody would want to get this game as soon as possible.
Yeah, they want to make it like an exclusivity thing that like if you get it now, like it's going to increase sales.
Better get it now because it's going to disappear and you'll never be able to have it again.
Yeah. Which is funny because and then I saw a bunch of people like, well, are the servers going to go down after that? I'm like, fuck no. Just because the game goes off the market doesn't mean the servers go down.
And like the day after it came out, you went on eBay and you'll see like physical copies of Mario 3D All-Stars going for like $1,000.
Yeah, that's
because they know that like it's going to become a collector's item.
That's unfortunately the thing that's going on with both Nintendo and PlayStation. Is that fucking scalpers? They'll get all they can of the thing and charge so much more money for it. And it's unfortunately a thing that happens a lot, especially in this day and age. And it fucking sucks.
Why can't you dumbassholes just make a product and sell a product?
Yeah.
Why you gotta make it difficult?
Yeah. Honestly, the only game that I can really see warranting that limited run is Mario 35, the Tetris 99 reskin, basically.
Yeah, clone.
That's the only one I could see justified on having that limited time thing. But like the 3D All-Stars, not really. And also a lot of thing with 3D All-Stars. Honestly, it looks amazing on the Switch. I'm gonna give it that. It looks amazing on the Switch, but it's running off an emulator that Nintendo bought. So it's not even like a full port. It's running off an emulator. And that wouldn't be an issue if Nintendo actually sold it as so, if they actually marketed it as so instead of saying like, oh, these are like completely new experiences of the games on the Switch. Like, no, they're fucking from emulators that are doing a lot better than you right now.
Yeah, I mentioned that when it was first announced in the Discord. I was just like, this is Mario's big 35th anniversary celebration, and you still put in the bare minimum effort to port these games.
Yeah, they didn't even port them. They just fucking like bought the license to emulate them.
You look at all the other... You look like literally any other remaster game that's come out in the past, 10 years. And they put way more effort into their remasters. Even if it's just a simple graphical remaster, they put way more effort into that than fucking Nintendo does in the year 2020 with Mario.
Dude, they put fucking Mario 64 on the fucking DS, and it looks amazing. But they couldn't get that kind of port over to the Switch. It's just the straight up original game emulated. Really? But what I do like is that while they could have like fixed a lot of the issues with the original games, they still have their fucking old glitches. It stays true to the source, which is hilarious because Mario Sunshine has a lot of fucking weird ass glitches.
Yeah, isn't that game was super rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah, when Mario Sunshine came out, actually that was my first 3D Mario game because I didn't play Mario 64 and I didn't play Galaxy. I didn't play RPG. I started with Sunshine, and I never touched the other two. So I'm actually glad about this 3D All Stars because I never played the other games. And that's the thing, like to have these out now is super cool. It's just they did it so fucking weird. And a lot of people are saying, well, it's cool that I can actually have this on mobile. I'm like, yeah, but you could have fucking gotten that with the DS. Because the DS had one of these games.
And is that all you wanted to say? Because I want to move on to the big one.
These limited runs, you would assume that when they do eventually come back, because they will, they're going to come back on some weird service that Nintendo's doing. Like, it's eventual that Nintendo will do an N64 service, either on the Switch or the console after it.
But never the GameCube. Never the GameCube.
I wish, but, like, that's not going to happen. But, honestly, if you want to play GameCube games, you better still have a fucking Wii.
Speaking of emulators and GameCube games, so, as we all know, we're all in quarantine right now. So, I didn't know about this tournament beforehand, but apparently there's this, every year there's a Smash tournament. And one of the games that they constantly play is Smash Brothers Melee. But, this year, since everyone's in quarantine, they decided, like, hey, why don't we make it in a tournament from home? But since Melee is a GameCube game and doesn't have, like, internet support, what they did is they emulated the game and modded it in order for there to be online multiplayer on Smash Bros. Melee. And in response, Nintendo shut it down. They threatened them with a cease and desist. Was it a cease and desist?
Cease and desist.
Yeah. So they had to shut the whole tournament down. Which, pissed a lot of people off. And created the hashtag on Twitter, Free Melee. Hashtag Free Melee.
And then it kind of leaked into other Nintendo communities, like the Splatoon community. They were starting, like, to start representing the Smash community, like they're being vocal about it. And then the fucking so Nintendo does this streaming of certain tournaments that aren't totally theirs on their YouTube channel. One of those is a Splatoon tournament, and because Splatoon players are being vocal about Free Melee,
they had a bunch of their names just be hashtag Free Melee. Like, a bunch of people in the finals had that as their name. And do you think maybe, like, Nintendo would look at this and realize, oh, wow, a lot of people sure do want this tournament to happen. Like, a bunch of people sure are mad at us. Maybe we should listen. You think they do that, right? No, they shut it down.
Yeah, they shut down Actually, they didn't shut down the Splatoon tournament, but they decided to not stream it. I can understand, like, them not giving a shit about Melee anymore, but, like, Splatoon? Really? Splatoon is, like, one of their most selling franchises in all of Nintendo.
All because they don't want people to know about their shitty business practices. That's what they were doing. They were trying to hide it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm going to say this forward now, that it's so hard right now to be a Nintendo fan. Like, say, like, you're excited about, like, all these games coming to the Switch and shit, because of Nintendo's business practices. I'm going to say this. I love Nintendo as a gaming company. I love the devs. I love the presenters. I hate the corporate people I hate the people upstairs doing all this shady shit. I have nothing against the devs because they're the ones actually making the games. They are completely flawless right now. The fucking business people making all the business decisions can fucking suck a dick.
Dude, how do you think I feel about Disney? Do you know how much of a fucking Disney fan I am? They've created I wouldn't be who I am without Disney. They've created most of my favorite movies of all time, but they are greedy, awful, just a garbage company. They are the scum of the fucking earth.
Yep.
Every time I criticize Disney, like, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go the fuck off in the next podcast, trust me. But I'm just gonna say this: whenever I criticize harshly a company, whenever I criticize a company like Disney, it's coming from a place of love.
Exactly, like this is like how we were talking about disappointing video games in Cryptcast in episode 9.
I think it was 9 or 10.
It was like somewhere around that. And we were talking about games that come from franchises that we love that ended up having disappointing ass games. And it comes from that. Like, we love these franchises that these companies have, but fuck the business practices of these companies.
We say this because we want you to do better.
Do better, Nintendo. Do better, Disney. Do better, Sony. Jesus Christ.
Do better, all of you just rich dickheads.
Dude, my mom is one of the biggest Disney fans in the entire world, and she said fuck Bob Iger when he fucking resigned. It's so fucking hilarious.
But anyway, Nintendo. I just really want to say this. Come here, Nintendo. Come here. I know you're not gonna listen to me, but because I don't buy your games or your consoles or anything, so you don't care. But just come here for a second. Listen to me, you son of a bitch. If you think that people using an emulator to play a game that you haven't sold in 20 years is somehow going to result in you losing money, you are too stupid to run a business.
Exactly. It's such a stupid situation. It's such pettiness.
For literal decades, the gaming industry has been trying to tell us that how bad emulators are, how we shouldn't use emulators, they're poor, the poor gaming companies who like all these pirates getting their games for free and playing them for free. Like, even ignoring the fact that these companies still make billions and billions of dollars a year. So clearly, it doesn't matter how much damage emulators are doing, it doesn't fucking matter. Even putting that aside, the people who are gonna pirate your games and emulate the games, the people who aren't going to pay for your games weren't going to do it anyway, so it's not a loss of sales.
Exactly.
Emulators have done nothing but good for video games. I fully support the use of emulators. I think emulators are a good thing, and the fact that the game industry always tries to, like, treat it as if it's, like, damaging the you know what I'm saying. It just pisses me off. I'm not quite as elegant as other YouTubers are, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so here's my thoughts on emulators. I'm going to speak on the good first, that emulators have saved a lot of franchises. They've, one, kept interest in a lot of franchises, and two, they've, like Nintendo did with 3D All-Stars, they used a fucking emulator to port them over to the Switch. So
exactly.
So, like, if those hadn't existed, Nintendo would have to literally make entire ports or remasters of these games. But that's too much work for them, you know? But,
right. It's easier just to use this thing that we constantly talk about how much we hate.
Yeah, but here's another thing. Here's another point is that their whole thing with piracy is that it's that they don't want people to misuse it. That like the only way I could see piracy becoming misused if someone is profiting off of it. If someone is profiting off an emulator, off of ROMs, that's where it becomes a legal issue. Because that is someone profiting off of someone else's work. Slippy is a completely free emulator.
I will agree with that. Right, that was the name of it. That was the name, Slippy, yeah.
And there's a lot of emulators on mobile phones that are free. There's one that is like 99 cents, but like that's the bare minimum to use the service. They don't profit off the ROMs. It's not it's not like these emulators are reselling the games at their base price of when they came out. That's where it would become a fucking problem, because it'd be like them claiming these games as their own. That's where it becomes a legal issue, and then, yeah, Nintendo should shut that shit down, because they're within their legal right to do so. Right now, emulators are completely free. Slippy is completely free. The emulator that Nintendo themselves are using for 3D All-Stars was free! Oh my god. And
again, it's a game you don't even sell anymore. It is Super Smash Bros. Melee. It is 20 years old. You are not going to lose money off of people emulating Smash Bros. Melee. Like, the only explanation that I can think of as to why they did this, is because they want to eventually bring Super Smash Bros. Melee onto, like, the eShop or something. Like, Nintendo Switch Online service or whatever. That's the only explanation I can think of. And if that is the reason, I have a saying that my dad likes to use, Nintendo, that I would like to say to you. Either shit or get off the pot. Either, if you want to put Smash Bros. Melee onto your service, either fucking do it, or don't come bitching and moaning when somebody else decides to do it first.
Exactly. They're shutting all this shit down because they want to be like, oh, it's because we're bringing shit over to the Switch. Okay, cool, but you don't have to shut down a lot of shit. The perfect example of this shit is Sega. Look at the amazing people that is Sega. Sega makes and encourages fan games. Sonic Mania would not exist without fans.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the line. Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Exactly.
I had to say it.
Exactly. It's like, oh my god. If Sega hadn't pulled out of the console race back in the day, their practices alone would make everyone love them as a fucking console company. I'm gonna just say it there, because Sega makes so many. Their games are kind of right now, but that's their own thing. The thing is, they actually listen to fans. However way they want to take it, they actually listen to fans, and they encourage fan works. You see the Sonic team Twitter constantly post fan art of Sonic. You see them constantly post about these Sonic fan games that are coming out. And Sonic Mania would not exist without fans, because they hired a Sonic fan game maker. It's so insane to me that Nintendo can't act this way. Sony can't act this way. Microsoft will never act this way.
Because they need to protect their precious IPs.
Even like Microsoft is being like more like collaborative, honestly, nowadays. That they're even putting their shit on Nintendo. That they're planning to put their shit on Nintendo. Sony's just in the corner, like, smoking a cigarette, like, yeah, that's all cool now.
And let's be real. This is nothing new for Nintendo. They have a long history of shutting down fan stuff.
Exactly.
Fan related, like, creations. Like fan games, fan, like, art. Well, maybe not. Like, I'm mostly thinking of, like, fan, like, YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like animated series of characters from their games. They throw cease and desist at those all the time. Like, it's just super shitty and greedy and fucking blech.
Like, having it, all of this fan shit is not gonna affect profits for you, Nintendo. It's not. It's, if anything, it piques interest. It keeps interest in your products.
You're a Nintendo fan. I don't need to tell you. You already know that Nintendo is like a 200-year-old company, and they started out making toys. I don't need to tell you that. You already know. They act like a 200-year-old company sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of their shit is backward-ass thinking, and it's so fucking... Oh my god. And people, like, being the front man, like Miyamoto, just makes me so sad, because he is such a nice man. He's such a wholesome man. But everyone that works around him is such a fucking asshole. I don't know all the shit that he does in reality, but, like, I assume he would not want this. People like him would not want this from Nintendo. Just like how a lot of Disney people don't want all the shit that Bob Iger did. Ugh. So frustrating.
It's sad.
Like,
it's a sad truth. It's a really sad truth, but
I'm still a huge advocate for the fucking for the Nintendo Switch, because it is one of the greatest consoles to ever exist. But fuck the business people that work at Nintendo. Like, and again, the eShop is one of the greatest things to ever exist, because it promotes indie devs more than any other console. It promotes so much shit that deserves attention. But fuck the corporation part of Nintendo.
Fuck corporations in general, man.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, another good example, Amazon. Amazon is it's an interesting service. It's a convenient service. It's a nice service to have. But fuck Jeff Bezos.
But you think you got it all out? You think you got a few things off your shoulders?
Yeah, so basically my end thoughts are...
Chest? What the fuck? Chest? Oh, I don't know why I said shoulders.
So basically my end thoughts are, don't hate the devs, don't hate the games, hate the people in charge that are committing all these horrible business practices, because they are the ones that are making the company look bad. Whereas the people that actually give you these nice games have nothing to do with them. They're just doing their job. That's all they're doing. They're just doing their job, making a great... Like Sakurai. Sakurai is the biggest example I can think of. He is hired by Nintendo to make one of the greatest fighting games, party games of all time. And I'ma just state it there, because he is a shining example of this whole situation.
Well said. I completely agree with everything you just said. Also, make a new F-Zero game, for fuck's sake! I don't even care. I just wanted to make that joke. But I think that's a good place to call it. I think we both said everything we needed to say. Yeah. Join us next time for when we do the literal exact same thing, but with Disney.
Hell yeah.
Until then, I hope you all had a happy holiday. thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time on the next episode of BrainWatched.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
さらにマリオのカメラが